Hello, Tim from Fair Play Now on the 15th of April 2023. Just going to be a quick video here, and I didn't manage to make it up to London in the end to the sort of event that was going on there in Trafalgar Square. I kind of suspected that and said as much in previous videos that I may well not be able to get up there, and as it transpired it was going to be just too much to get up there and attend that as well as everything else I've got on at the moment. So yeah, I didn't get up there, but I will get on to the next one. And I think next month, I've already seen word next month, not sure of the date yet in May that it's occurring, but there is going to be an event again at Trafalgar Square, and this one's going to be all about the V for younger people. I'll just sort of leave it at that, but more details on that as we get closer. So yeah, if you did get up there, hope you had a good time, hope the numbers were good, and I look forward to seeing whatever footage was shot up there today. I believe there was a live stream. I did see a notification that there was going to be a live stream. If I can find it, I'll put a link to it in the description box below here, so you can see, and I can see even, what went on there today. But this morning, over breakfast, I was watching a very interesting video. I'll put a link to this in the description box below here. But it was a very interesting video featuring two guys who work for the ambulance service here in the UK for the November Hotel Sierra. Both of them, I think they're brothers, both of them paramedics, kind of recently retired, but when the lurgy kicked off in early 2020, they were kind of called back. I believe ambulance people have something called bank. It's called bank. I know someone in the ambulance service personally, and I remember her going on about this bank thing. It kind of seems like you kind of leave the service, but they can call you back if they really need you, and I suppose they give you some kind of retainer, annual retainer or whatever in return for that. So that's my understanding, but they were kind of called back into the service in the early days of 2020, and yeah, everything that we suspected they were confirming. The hospitals weren't particularly busy during the first lockdown, but things are very, very, very busy now for reasons I'm sure you can guess at. And it's quite interesting because one of these paramedics was saying to a consultant, just literally just showing her things like the yellow card and stuff like that, and not only was she very dismissive of him, but she got very, very angry. And it's just amazing. There just seems to be some kind of cognitive dissonance there going on in it, and I know it's puzzled us, the likes of us, a lot, why as soon as you start mentioning any of this kind of thing, the shutters just seem to come down. You just see in their eyes, they just lose interest in what you're saying, and just don't really take in anything that you're saying. And it's quite interesting because one of these guys piped up and said, they didn't really know why this was, but he thought it could be something to do with the telly. And yeah, I wouldn't sort of put it past them to have some kind of no, for a fact they did have some programming going on, some kind of mass hypnosis stuff going on that was being put through to the population via at least the news, if not some other things as well, just planting seeds into people's minds here and there, building it up over a period of time, and until they were mass formation. They'd sort of been induced into this mass formation kind of thing. So very interesting to hear him saying about that as well. And maybe that's the reason why the likes of us have been immune to it all. Yes, we've got a telly here, but I personally never watch it. Lorraine almost never watches it, and when we do, it's just for film, like DVDs that we've got, films, and we don't really watch any kind of mainstream TV at all, any BBC or anything like that. And these paramedic guys were saying they didn't have a TV, and I know many viewers, including perhaps you, either don't have TVs at all, or if you do, you don't really watch it that much like me. So very, very interesting, and maybe that's one of the reasons why we kind of saw through the nonsense, and so many out there didn't. It's all thanks to the TV, and so many people out there just have way too much trust in mainstream media. I certainly think, why do people have so much trust in the mainstream media? Because you kind of know that they lie. So why be so trusting of them when it's a proven fact that they lie? But, well, that's obvious stuff to the likes of you and me, but it all comes back to critical thinking, doesn't it? These people just seem to have lost any kind of critical thinking skills, and not that I don't think you have to have much skill to be able to do critical thinking. You should just be, if the government suddenly told you that at midday every Thursday, it doesn't matter where you are, you've got to stand on one leg for a minute, and they said, oh yeah, it'd be just for the nation's good if everybody stands on one leg for a minute. Instead of just blindly following government orders and doing it, critical thinking would just be, well, hang on a minute, why have we got to do this? Why are the government saying we've got to do this? What are the experts that the government are talking to that have recommended that we do this, and what are their arguments, and what are the counter arguments? Oh yeah, this guy over here is saying this whole standing on one leg business is a load of nonsense, so I don't know why the government's pursuing it. And then you just make a decision in your own mind, and you just sort of think, well, okay, I think I've seen all the evidence on all sides, and I think this standing on one leg thing on a Thursday is just a load of rubbish, so I'm not going to do it. So that's all you need for critical thinking, isn't it? It's not exactly hard, but there's so many people who are incapable of doing it. And okay, in that example, I would hope at least that well over 90% of people would see through it and think it's nonsense. But even with that, even standing on one leg, I'm sure there's quite a lot of people up and down the country who would actually do it if the government and the mainstream media, the BBC and all of the rest of them were telling them to do it, wouldn't there? But there are other examples where things aren't quite as obviously silly, although you might, if you have got good critical thinking skills, you might sort of fairly quickly start thinking, well, hang on a minute, what's going on here? And then you just engage your brain a little bit, analyse things, and you just sort of think, what this proposal that the government's coming out with is no good. It's rubbish. It's just designed to take our freedoms away, or whatever it might be, or just to get more money out of us. So this critical thinking thing isn't exactly difficult, is it? But it just seems to be so many people who just can't do it. They just, as soon as the government tells them they've got to do something, they just do it. They just blindly do it, and it's just absolutely insane to me. I mean, I've had more than enough evidence over the last 3 years, if not longer, to sort of think that, if the government's telling me to do something, far from doing it, I'd probably be better off not doing it, by not following their recommendations in many cases at least. So it's just very interesting. I'll leave it there. I'm rambling on a little bit longer than I was intending, but I'll leave a link to hopefully the live stream footage, well, just be recorded footage by now, I should think, of the events in London today. That will be in the description box below, and also a link to this video that I saw with these two paramedics. That will be in the description box below here as well. So I'll leave it there. Back soon. Tim from Fair Play Now. Thanks for watching.